Tired of writing documentation? I get it! You just spent weeks, maybe months, building an amazing new feature. You've tested it, you've refined it, you've poured your heart and soul into the code. And now, just when you think you can finally move on to the next exciting challenge, there's one more mountain to climb. Documentation. It's the task every developer loves to hate. It's tedious, it's time-consuming, and let's be honest, it often feels like you're just repeating yourself. You have to explain every function, every parameter, every return value, and the worst part? It's a never-ending cycle of writing, updating, and frustration. What if I told you there's a better way? The secret lies in your code itself and a little bit of disciplined practice. And your team's communication in Slack or Teams is filled with context and decisions. The problem is, they're disconnected. The real breakthrough comes from tools that can automatically pull all this information together, analyze it, and present it in a human-readable format. And discussions, and build a living, breathing knowledge base for your project. Let's get specific. One of the most powerful techniques is using AI-powered documentation generators. These tools integrate directly with your code repository. When you push new code, they swing into action. They use advanced language models to analyze your functions, classes, and APIs. They don't just list parameters. They infer the purpose of the code based on its name, its structure, and the comments you've already written. Imagine pushing a new function called calculate_user_retention_rate. An AI tool can automatically generate a description, like, this function calculates the user retention rate over a given period. It takes a start date, an end date, and a user segment as input, and returns a percentage value representing the retention rate. It can even generate example usage snippets based on your test cases. This isn't science fiction. Tools like Swim, Mentalify, and even GitHub Copilot are making this a reality right now. But it goes deeper than just analyzing the code itself. The real power comes from connecting code to context. Think about your commit messages. Instead of writing fixed bug or updated stuff, what if you adopted a convention? A simple practice like prefixing your commit messages with the corresponding Jira ticket number, like PROJ123, fixed user login, authentication flow, creates a powerful link. Suddenly, anyone looking at that code doesn't just see the code itself, they also see the why, the business reason, and the user story behind the change. This instantly makes your codebase more understandable, especially for new team members who are trying to get up to speed. It's about creating a rich tapestry of information, not just a flat list of functions. Let's talk about API documentation, which is notoriously difficult to keep current. This is where standards like OpenAPI, formerly known as Swagger, become your best friend. By describing your API using this standardized format, you create a single source of truth. In frameworks like FastAPI for Python, or by using libraries in Node, JS, and Java, you can add simple decorators or annotations right next to your API endpoint code. From this single source of truth, you can automatically generate interactive API documentation with a try it out button, create client SDKs in different programming languages, and even set up automated contract testing. This is the epitome of don't repeat yourself. You define it once in the code, and the documentation, tests, and client libraries all fall into place automatically. No more manually updating a Postman collection every time an endpoint changes. Now, let's bring it all together. Picture this workflow. A developer picks up a ticket from Jira. As they write code, they add clear, concise comments and type hints. Their README, powered by something like GitHub Copilot, helps them write this code and even suggests comments. Then, it uses an AI tool to scan the new code and generate or update the relevant documentation pages. It updates the OpenAPI specification and regenerates the interactive API docs. The tool might even post a summary of the changes and a link to the draft documentation directly into the pull request as a comment. The reviewer can now see the code, the reason for the change via the Jira link, and the documentation that will be published, all in one place. Once the PR is approved and merged, the documentation is automatically published. It's a seamless, hands-off process. But what about the bigger picture? What about architectural decisions and high-level concepts that don't live in a single function? This is where documentation as code comes in. Instead of using a separate platform like Confluence or Google Docs, you write your architectural decision records, your setup guides. Why is this so powerful? Because now your documentation is versioned. You can see how the architecture evolved over time. You can make changes to documentation in a branch and have it reviewed through a pull request, just like code. This process encourages collaboration and ensures quality. Tools like Docsify, MKDOCs, or Docasaurus make this incredibly easy. You're treating your documentation with the same rigor and process as your code, which means it will have the same level of quality and accuracy. So what are the key takeaways here? First, embrace automation. Stop thinking of documentation as a separate, manual task, and start looking for tools that can integrate into your existing workflow. Second, leverage the context you already have. Your commit history, your task tracker, and your team chats are gold mines of information. Use conventions to link them together. Third, adopt standards like OpenIP for your APIs and documentationized code practices for architectural docs. These create a single source of truth and enable powerful automation. The initial setup might take a little effort. You'll need to choose your tools, configure your pipelines, and get your team on board with new conventions. But the payoff is enormous. You'll save hundreds of hours of tedious work. Your documentation will always be accurate and up to date. Your new hires will onboard faster. It's time to stop writing documentation and start generating it. Imagine the freedom this gives you. No more late nights before a release, frantically trying to update screenshots and API examples. Instead, you have a system that works for you, silently in the background, creating a comprehensive knowledge base from the work you're already doing. This isn't just about saving time. It's about reducing cognitive load and eliminating a major source of friction in the development process. It's about building a culture of quality where documentation is seen not as a chore, but as a natural and effortless byproduct of writing good code. The tools are here. The techniques are proven. The only thing left is to make the change. Start small. Pick one part of your process to automate. Maybe it's generating API docs from code annotations. Or maybe it's just enforcing a better commit message convention. Once you see the benefits, you'll be hooked. You'll start to see opportunities for automation everywhere, transforming your entire development lifecycle. The future of documentation isn't written, it's generated. Thanks so much for watching! If you found this helpful, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more content on building better software, and let me know in the comments what your biggest documentation pain points are. See you in the next one.